Welcome back to the Private Practice Playbook, where we pull back the curtain on what it really takes to grow, scale, and lead a private practice in today's market. In this episode, we're doing something a little different and something I believe every practice owner needs to hear. Last month, we hosted an event focused on one of the most pressing topics in the industry today: how to recruit, train, and retain top-tier providers. As part of the experience, Jay sat down with two panels of dental students, future doctors who are about to enter the profession and in many ways reshape it. You'll hear from students who are finishing their second and third years of dental school, offering a unique perspective of what the next generation is really thinking. We called it the Future Dental Insights Panel, and what came out of that conversation was both eye-opening and incredibly valuable. Jay asked them real, unfiltered questions about what they're looking for in a future employer, what motivates them, and how they're thinking about their careers. Today, we're sharing a few behind-the-scenes clips from that conversation. Now, these are the people you'll be hiring, mentoring, or competing with in the years ahead. And if you want to build a sustainable, scalable business, you have to understand what's driving the next generation of talent. So let's get into it.
Private Practice Playbook, it's a Private Practice Playbook.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is, so let's start with one of the fill-ins. You want to, just to warm it up? Okay, so get your pens. And so I said we're gonna try a couple of things, and so just for fun, we'll do a super easy one, right? So I'll ask you guys the question, and you write down what comes to you right away, okay? So I'll ask the question, you write the answer down, and then flip it over, okay? And don't let anyone see what you write down, okay? Got it? No right answer, no wrong answer, nothing, right? So I told them, no judgment, just be authentic. And remember, if they were interviewing you, there's questions they can't ask you. So what's so great about this is that it doesn't matter, ignore them in a way, but I want to be able to ask them questions. So everybody got your pen ready? Okay. So how much money do you think you should get paid in your first year? Go. Just write down a number. Okay. Kind of a fun question, right?
I'm having so much fun.
You know what she said to me? She goes, I'm afraid I'm gonna be too honest, right? Okay, all right, so good. So how many of you are interested in this question? Yeah, just an expectation. Now, for fun, so Clara, what year, how long until you think you're gonna be ready to, until you think you're gonna be ready for a job?
So we graduate in 2027. I think I will be ready 2028.
Okay, so she's a 2028 prospect. So we got time. See, you can't say anything bad.
Yeah, y'all will forget this.
Yeah, okay. So all of you would be sort of similar then?
Mm-hmm. We're all D2s, yes, sir.
So is everyone, so you're in school. Are you thinking about school or the job at this point?
Well, if we're being completely honest, our D2 year, I was just thinking about getting through.
Okay, so I think that's important, right? Would you guys agree with that? So the one thing I want you guys to understand, so a dental student is gonna be thinking about getting through school, not thinking about their job, right? So it's not because you have to do one before the other, okay?
Right.
So now, do you think, so if we think about this, right? Each year that they progress, their interest is gonna get greater. So if I asked you a question, so Pinckney, how many doctors do you know that you could pick up the phone and call who might hire you?
How many dentists do I know I can call right now?
Yeah. Do you know some dentists who you could say, hey, I'm looking for a job, I'd like to come work for you? Just out of curiosity. If you go through your phone.
Some of my dad's friends, maybe.
Okay,
Three
good.
or four.
Okay.
If we're lucky. Yeah.
So as a student, would it be okay to develop a list of people who, you see what I'm saying? You guys understand what I'm trying to get you? So get early, just knowing someone who is a doctor who says, hey, anytime you wanna come spend a couple hours in my office, Pinckney, if I met you and I said, hey, Pinckney, when are you graduating? Good, this is what I do. Let me give you my card. And I want you to know that anytime you want to come and see an actual office, you call me and you can come to my office. Would you like that?
I would love that, yeah.
And you wouldn't think it was weird?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you guys understand. So how you could start the relationship is that when you're a student, you know a bunch of students, right? So if I said, hey, Pinckney, who can you call to go out and get a beer with tonight? Do you have people?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, no problem. But like, they don't really, so what I want you to think about is, depending on where somebody is, like just having that relationship, right? So like after today, anytime you guys want to call me, if you want me to help you go to an office or find someone to work for, you can call me anytime and I'll help you. Does that make sense? See how easy that is?
Yep.
Sounds awesome.
All right, so everybody flip over their cards. Let's see what you got. Okay. 250, 175, 170, 190. Savannah, you're hired. No, I'm joking. So, okay, all right, so let's go around and, so Connor, where did you come up with that number?
From peers and people I've heard. I try not to look online too much because the number can be anywhere. But I think from what I've seen from DSOs a lot, it's a little bit higher. But it just kind of came to my head, kind of seeing that would provide me a good life while also being able to pay off some of my debt.
Okay. And so when you guys wrote that number down, all right, so Pinckney, where'd you get the number?
I'm sorry?
Where did you get that number?
Based on our loans right now and Google searches, that's kind of the average, maybe a little higher than the average of what it says online, but.
So whatever you're seeing, so does everybody get what I'm trying to get you to understand? If you wanted to know what they expect, you would go look at what they're looking at. And whatever that says is probably where you're thinking. It's not what, okay. So, okay, where the hell did you get that?
So I play with the idea of
You got to be willing
specializing.
to go to Ohio to get that number.
I already told you I'll go. But I play with the idea of specializing. And so for me, automatically, the numbers.
Okay.
go higher.
So you think if you're going to specialize, you should get a higher number and you're making that play. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just asking.
I've spent a lot of time with oral surgeons, so I might be
Okay.
a little
Good. Okay.
jaded.
So you want to become an oral surgeon?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But me and Savannah both worked at the dental school before we got into dental school. I worked at the oral surgery clinic for
Okay.
2.5 years.
Okay.
And so they all just, from hearing about how they're living their lives now, like the residents, maybe it's not a realistic goal, but
I like
it is
it.
a little
Okay,
goal
good.
I have in my head.
Okay, good. So does everybody kind of get where the ranges were there? They were from 250, 170. Okay, all right, good. Thank you. Good job. Look at that. You all passed that with flying colors. It was easy. Okay, now flip that card over, and I want to try something else. Okay. So if you got that amount of money, this time you're going to write two numbers down. And so it's going to be a percentage number, okay? So like if you think about 100 and I say, I'm going to ask you the question, and it would be like, I think this percent would be here and this percent would be here, okay? So the question is going to revolve around guaranteed compensation versus what you earn based on performance. So you guys know the difference? So like if I say, hey, Savannah, you come to work for me, I'll give you $100,000 a year. You take $100,000, you divide it by how many pay periods, you're gonna get a check for that much, right? Done. That's all you gotta do is show up, right? That's base. The incentive compensation would be something on performance, meaning, so if you're more productive, you can earn this. You guys understand that? Okay, you ready? I'm going to ask you the question.
Yeah.
So percentage, got 100%. What percent would you want to be guaranteed, and what percent do you think should be earned in an incentive? Go. It's all percentage, it's not dollar amounts. You don't have to do any math. So like when you think about what you're going to make, what percentage do you think is going to be guaranteed, like 80% of that number, and then what percentage is going to be earned?
This is first year out.
Just in general, yeah, first year, yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like, I get you'd make more, but I just want to get in a sense of what you think that spread is going to be. You understand the question?
Like what we think or we would...
What you think.
I have no idea.
Oh.
So like if you want 175,000, how you see it, what percentage is guaranteed and what percentage is earned. Because you make 175 at the end of the year, but I want to know if you see a spread, like what's guaranteed pay versus what you earn based on being productive. So it's a percentage. You got what I'm saying? It's no math. Okay, Pinckney, what do you got?
60-40.
Okay, and so you think, so the first number you wrote was total comp, and you think it's probably going to be partially guaranteed and partially earned. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you expect that. Do you expect it, or?
I think right out of school, especially when we're still like a little slower, it's like it stabilizes us a little bit more.
Okay, so this is really important. So your original number you wrote down was how much?
190.
Okay, so he wrote a 190, but the follow-up question was what's guaranteed and what do you earn? You guys all following what I'm? Okay, so this is important because because in kind of a way, like, and by the way, the day you start treating patients, do you think you're really going to be good at treating patients?
Not to what we want to get to eventually. No, definitely not.
I think that's a valid.
I know it's unrealistic for us to feel like we're, already on par with the dentist we're going in with, obviously.
Love that. Yeah, I love that. That's very realistic, right? And is that kind of what people talk about? Like, meaning that it's like, listen, we're going to get school, but then we're going to have. So there's a statistic that says that like 60% of dental students actually want to go into residency. Is that because of that experience, right? Now, is Pinckney, let me ask you guys a question about Pinckney. Is he cocky or is he really humble?
He is so humble.
Okay, good. That's great. I was just curious. Okay. You're the cocky one.
I am.
Okay,
yeah.
good. I got it. Okay. So, I mean, Miss 250 over here. I don't know what gave you away. Okay. So, okay, Savannah, what did you put? Like, I know you were kind of 70-30. Okay, good. All right. Or what'd you get? 65? Okay, good. I thought you were going to write 90-20.
Okay, I'm willing to work for it.
All right, no, so I want everyone to understand that. So as you're doing this, if you ask somebody what they're going to make, they're going to tell you a total number. But every one of them actually was expecting part to be guaranteed and part to be earned. Is that, and are they telling you that? Or you guys aren't even at the point where people are really talking about this?
We're still at the point where they don't really talk about it yet in school, but based off, listening to podcasts and online research, that's kind of what people say is like the best option right out of school.
Okay, good. Let's do the next one. All right, so new card. This will be fun. So this is totally, it's not really that weird, but let's just do it. Okay. Where do you get your news? Go.
Oh, gosh.
It's okay. There's no right or wrong answer. It's like, where do you get your news, right? I mean, I just want to know. And then right on below that, do you watch cable TV or stream? Or both? Okay. Clara, what do you got?
Twitter for my news, or I guess it's X now, and then I watch
You
both.
guess it's X.
It is X.
Just kidding. I like it. You're still calling it Twitter, though. You know what I call PowerPoints, which are actually keynotes? Slides.
Works.
That was a long time ago. So I like it. Okay. So Twitter and then both. Okay. So let's make sure. So if you were going to get news, it would be on. Okay. Gotcha. All right.
I said Reddit and Twitter. And then
Reddit, Twitter. You guys.
Cable, Fox News, but I don't usually pay attention to it. It's just on. And then
Nothing wrong with Fox News, buddy. I like it. I like where you're going. I'm good with that. You play Fox News on your own?
Me and my roommate will have it on sometimes.
I like it.
And my dad always has it on with.
Well, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
That's why it's usually on in the background.
I like it. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So and Reddit. Okay. Good. Savannah, how about you?
I took mainly online, and then I also said word of mouth. I feel like people that I trust that they do a lot of research. I feel like I don't in my free time tend to look and seek out the news too much. So people that I know are very connected, I will ask for a little update every now and then, or they'll just say, "Oh, do you hear what's going on?" And I
So when you say online, what would be a platform that you would use?
I would say similar. I'm not really big on Reddit, but I would say Twitter or something like that.
Okay.
Definitely more social media type, which probably is not the most credible source, but
No. It doesn't, we're not here to like. It's just whatever it is, right? That's what we're trying to figure out. Okay. And then like Instagram, are you on it? Like, do you look?
I am on Instagram. But yeah, I'd say that's more something I would stumble upon the news. I don't really seek it out that way. But
Okay. Good. Pinckney, how about you?
I said Twitter as well. That's where I get most of my news, and then both to streaming and cable.
Okay. Interesting. So, all right, you guys are doing great. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you about a word, and I want you to tell me if you've ever heard of this word, and if it has any bearing at all on the selection of where you would want to work. And you don't have to write this down. I'm going to ask you. Savannah, you can go first. Culture.
I think that has a huge way, like on where I would want to go. I think that's something I would want to look into for sure, and probably more ask about the people working there.
And so you know what that word means.
I would say
The culture. Is that a word that you guys would?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a word you would know, and it's a word that you understand it. So if I said the culture here is, you're good with that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of?
I think it can have different definitions to different people, and I think that's something I would want to.
What would the word be that is the word for culture for your generation? Is it, like back in the day, right, when people drove like a Volkswagen bus, it was like the vibe, right? It was a word. Is there a word that means culture for you guys? I'm curious. Or like something that was synonymous with
I
that.
think now it means kind of like bougie/trendy, I would
Bougie.
say. Like if you say someone's cultured, it's like they're in the know on the trends.
Okay, no, I wanted the language, right? Because like we say say an older word, what's the word that's, right? Anything come to mind?
No, I'm trying to think.
Okay, all right.
I like the word culture, but if we're talking about like an office specifically, like atmosphere is a good way to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atmosphere, right? It's a good word, right? So like if you went in, like if let's say like I said, hey, you should stop by my house, and we go into my house and you think it's cool. When you walk out and you get in the car, what are you gonna say? No, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Are we
say,
with our
oh
friends
man.
or our parents?
What's that?
Are we with our friends or parents?
With your friends.
Friends, we'd probably say vibe. I like the vibe in
Okay,
there.
like the vibe.
Yeah.
okay, good. Word from the 60s is back. Some of you will be in good shape. No, but I'm curious, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go like, oh, cool, okay. So, all right. So we kind of understand what culture is, but we could use different words probably that would even be better. Okay. And then let's say you were gonna check a doctor out, okay? So, Connor, if I said to you, hey, there's this doctor, a really great guy, his name is Dr. So-and-so, and he's in this town, how would you check them out? Like, what would your steps be?
I'd probably reach out and go visit. And if I'm a student, I'd see if I could shadow and kind of get the environment.
Right, what's the first thing you would do?
Look them up.
Okay, and where would you enter their name?
Google.
Okay, so you would Google them.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you that would be true? You'd go, okay. So if you enter your name, if you Google yourself, that's what you guys would see about that person first, okay? So how do you, if you like, so let's say you did that. What would either make it look appealing or make it not look appealing? Claire, like what would you look for?
If they had a social media, a big thing that I've noticed that I'm not a big fan of is if they have a social media and they're kind of putting their work all over the internet. And to be fair, I'm inexperienced in what this would look like, but if it feels like to me, maybe they're just taking people's money and not doing the most like health beneficial work, like maybe making it look aesthetic, but ignoring other problems that they have, that to me, I would be like, absolutely not. Like,
And
I
how
don't want
would
to
you
work somewhere
see
like
that? How would you detect that
I
in the
mean,
website?
certain things, if they have like an intraoral photo and they're like showing off crowns or something, and I can tell that this person has like crazy occlusion or like gum inflammation or like the baseline needs are not being met, that would be a big red flag for me.
Holy bat flaps. That was awesome. Thank you. I don't think they saw that coming. That was good.
Thank you.
So
That's
you
why I'm
actually are judging them
$250,000.
and you don't even know what the hell you're doing. I mean, this is great. She's critiquing your damn work and she didn't have a license yet. You got to love this. Okay, that's great. I'm not even joking. This is very good. It's what I want to learn, right? Okay. So Savannah, how about you? Like if you were looking at someone's website, and so your mom's practice, right? She's always had a great presence. You go in the office, it's an incredible, right? I mean, it's all about, I mean, it's impressive, right? It's like have you been to a lot of other offices?
I shadowed at several offices, and then working at the dental school is very, very different type of dentistry. So I really appreciated that experience, and it was a different vibe. We'll say that.
Yeah, different vibe. So think about that. You're used to her office, right? And so her office is really nice. I mean, it's just really top notch, right? Everything about it is top notch. So that's an interesting. So how would you compare things to that?
Maybe.
Or would you go, I gotta make a downgrade, or I gotta think differently?
I wouldn't
Do
necessarily.
you want to go to work there when you graduate?
I don't. I'm interested in actually moving out of Atlanta. I'm looking.
Ohio?
Maybe. No, I'm actually looking in Columbia, South Carolina.
Columbia, South
Does
Carolina.
anyone?
Turns out I could introduce you to somebody. You see that lovely person waving at you over there? You should meet her when we're done.
But no, I don't think I would necessarily compare. I think offices have different priorities, and I don't think that needs to be flashy in any way. I think
She was on The Amazing Race.
Oh, well, we love that. That's cool. I think if I were looking up.
Yeah, that works.
But I think if I were looking up a practice or a specific doctor, I think reviews online would be interesting to look at. If they have lots and lots of negative reviews and they're not doing anything to try to flip that, I think that would be a big red flag. And development of their website, I think if it just looks like no time has been put into that, I think I would just, maybe not a deal breaker, but maybe hesitation there.
All right. And you would never tell them that, you just wouldn't be interested, right? So you would never, I mean, except for Clara, she might call and tell you your website sucks. But other than that, you guys would never, like, you're not going to say it, you're just going to, like, move on and go somewhere else, right? You're going to DQ them and then, right, ghost them. Go ahead.
You should tell them, kind of like inform and be like, this is kind of what I
Yeah,
like.
but it's not your job. I'm saying,
not,
like, if you interviewed and the site looked unsatisfactory and they weren't doing the work, then, right, you just wouldn't respond. You would.
I mean, if they ask, I'd tell them.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
If they would ask, then yeah.
No. Okay. All right, good. So, okay, Pinckney. So let's talk about this mentoring thing. Have you heard that?
Very important. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a mentor?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like some of my dad's friends who are dentists in the field.
Okay. Savannah? Like, that's not, like, again, no parents, just like outside people that you guys like, yeah?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you understand the concept of having a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Acceptable. You're interested in that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
How important is that going to be in the relationship?
Especially right out of school, I feel like having someone you can learn from, expand your clinical skills, maybe through them a little bit, and also like they can save your butt if you really need them to. That's really important for someone right out of school.
I was going to say, I think we touched on this a little bit earlier, but something like half of dental students want to do residency when they graduate. And I think if you are to not go that route and want to go straight into working in a private practice, I think Having a mentor would make you maybe not feel behind your peers that
Sure.
maybe are doing one. So I think from a marketing standpoint, if you're looking for young dentists, I think saying, hey, you can maybe gain some of the knowledge that you would learn in a residency at my practice. I will take that role and I will kind of teach you the ropes and make you more confident and efficient and work on your speed, but also make sure your quality's there. I think that would be a huge selling point for
So a
students.
second year dental student going to their third year, if I said to you, hey, listen, or my client in South Carolina said, hey, why don't you come spend a day with me treating patients, would that interest you?
Yeah.
And then when you do that day, you pick up on the vibe, right? Right? And it's either going to be like, hey, I like this person, or yeah, no, right? I mean, that's okay. And you guys would be, and if that invitation came, would you be flattered? Would you be like, right? Yes, no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you're like, even though in second year, you're thinking getting in an office would be good. Okay. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, like, even if I feel confident leaving dental school, there's so much that I don't know about the world of private practice. And so, like, going and seeing how they work, and especially, like, you're talking about culture. Whenever we worked at the dental school, something I learned is, like, not all of the work cultures are good. And so if I walk into some
Yeah.
place I'm interested and I'm like, there's a little bit of hostility around this place, I'm going to be like, what is happening? I don't know if I want to be a part of this.
Sure. You can kind of feel that, right? Okay.
Curious what's really possible in your practice? It's time to find out. A Discovery Day is your opportunity to spend one-on-one time with one of our expert practice growth consultants to take an inside look at your business. We'll help you uncover hidden opportunities, identify what's holding you back, and build a customized roadmap for the future you want. Let's take a deep dive into your goals, your team, and your potential. If you're ready to get clear and take action, book your Discovery Day today. Call 470-410-3154 to learn more.
Okay. Let's start. Get your pen. And you guys have all seen this. I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to rapidly write down the answer, okay? Don't look at each other's pad. No right answer or anything like that. Okay, you ready? So you just ready? Yeah, okay. So just draw it kind of big. And so, all right. What do you think you should make in your first year? Go. Just write down a dollar amount. First year. What do you think you should get paid in your first year? All right. Okay. Ready? Everybody, show your card. All right, we got 200, 194, 200, 190. Awesome. Okay, so what are we learning? Every year the number goes up. Okay, so by the time it's the end, it's going to be more. Okay, so now that's a great answer, right? So tell me where you got that number. Like where did that, just for fun? Like what were the elements that kind of made that? Like you heard this, where did you?
I did hear this. We had a little bit of conversation before coming out here about what was a competitive, kind of the market salary right now, and
Okay.
200,000 seems to be a little bit reasonable.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, no, perfectly fair. All right, so, okay, I'm gonna ask you a follow-up question on the back of the card, all right? You ready? So you're gonna answer it in a percentage. So you wanna make whatever the number is, and then how much of it is gonna be guaranteed salary and how much is gonna be earned based on your production. So just write a percentage, like first number is the total guaranteed salary. So you wrote 200? Okay, what roughly percentage is guaranteed, what's earned? Go. Ding, 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 ding. I need a music. Ding, 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 ding. And the right. So again, it's a percentage, like, 80% is gonna be guaranteed, 20, 60, 40, whatever it is, right? There's no, okay. No right answer. Okay, you guys comparing notes. All right, okay. All right, so let's see what you got. Everyone turn them around. So, don't know, fair enough, okay. So, all right, so did you understand the question or you just don't know the answer?
I
don't know the
I
answer.
personally don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Okay, good, okay, good.
I felt the same way. I said, I don't know. I stole from him. And
It's
yeah,
okay.
I have no idea.
No, this would be great because I would like you to learn something out of this, right? You have 70-30.
I was thinking most
are paid like 30% production. So then I thought the other 70 would be guaranteed, but now I'm thinking that is a silly thought. So I don't know.
You're just mixing up all the numbers. I love it. Yeah. Like just, okay. So it's great. Like, so that's fantastic, right? So what that means though, just so we know, is that if I say, what would you like to make in your first year? And you say $200,000, it means that by the end of the year, your total comp would be $200,000. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to guarantee you a salary of $200,000. It means you may have a salary of $150, and then your performance, you might earn another $50, leading you to the $200. So that's the. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So most likely you're thinking a number that's high, and you're not going to get that guaranteed. Someone's going to try to say, hey, I need you to hit some numbers. So does that help?
Yeah.
That's what that means. Okay, good. Very helpful, though, to see what you guys are kind of thinking, right? So it will be a percentage.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. And so it's probably not going to be 100% of what you want.
Right.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is everyone picking up on why I'm doing this? Because the vernacular is important, and you guys are overly assumptive, thinking people know things, and you really should slow it down and go through the whole thing and explain it to make people feel comfortable. Because when you guys get your these first jobs, right, it's going to become like a big deal, right? It's like, oh man. So expectations are going to get bigger, right? Okay. All right, so let's talk about, Lauren. So let's talk about, do you have ideas on where you should work at this point?
Like location?
What are you
Georgia,
being told to do? Are you being told, get an associateship, go to work for a big company? What are you being told to do?
In school, I feel like they are doing a good job about private practice and becoming an associate. So I would say that, at first I thought they were going to push corporate a lot. And I haven't felt like that way at all. If anything, a lot of DSOs have came in and spoke with us. But
Are they the most present, showing up to try to talk to you?
Yeah, for sure. They always
buy you guys beers or anything?
lunch and learns all the time. Yeah,
Yes,
they're always
and
the
food.
ones that.
So they're feeding you. So the only people that have bought you food are the DSOs. Is that?
For the most part, I think
For the
that's
most part.
Probably 80%.
Okay. Okay. This is important. So I want you to think about this. So who do you think you'll go to work for?
Probably a private practice. That's what I would hope for, is that I would want to join a already existing practice, that I like the culture there, and the procedures that are also being done there are something that interests me and that allows me to grow more with like CE opportunities and mentorship.
That's great. Okay. Anything? Would you add anything to that? Or is that you're nodding like similarly? Is there something different for you?
I think the only thing that's different for me is I'm looking most for a mentorship. I think that private practice is probably something that can provide that for me, with more of a family-oriented kind of feel and being able to help me where I feel I may lack between dental school and going straight into practice.
All right. So what is your word for culture or the feeling in an office? So like, what word might you use to describe so like if you get a bad feeling, do you have a word that you would use with a friend that we could learn from? Any of you?
I'd say vibe, honestly.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
that
what I
word
would
makes
use.
sense.
Like,
What's the
oh,
vibe
I
like?
got like a bad vibe from this person
Okay.
or something like that.
So if I said to you, I'd love for you to come in the office and just kind of see what the vibe is here and see if it's something you're interested in, that would be an appropriate, okay. Like you'd understand that.
Yeah.
If I said, hey, I'd like you to come in and experience the culture in my office, would you think it was a cult?
That would just show your age. That's
I love that. Okay, good, yeah. Well, cult is in culture, by the way, so, it is like the word in there. Okay, so that's really helpful, right? So if I said to you, like, if you said you came in the office and I called you afterwards, I was like, did you have any comment on the vibe of the office? That would be okay. You think I was? You think?
I'd say so.
Okay, good. That's actually really helpful. Okay, so if you were describing an office you didn't like, what would you say?
Like, I'll say like, oh, the vibe is off. Is that what you're?
Yeah, like if you went to an office and it was run down and it didn't look like the place you should work, what might you say that is? Like, you'd be like, oof. Like, what would be on your no way list, right? You have one yet?
Specifically, what would be on that?
Yeah. Like, well,
Like
for you.
a high turnover.
Okay.
Is that what you're asking?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Like, do you think there's things that, like, I would never work for a doctor who's.
Yeah, a high turnover, no technology at all.
So, how important is technology?
I think it's very important.
So, you want them to show off technology, is what you're saying.
It doesn't have to be crazy.
But if there is tech, you want to see it.
Yes.
Okay. Even if you're scared of it, you just want to see it, right? Like, you want to see the machine, right?
Or like at least like willing to incorporate that into the
Yes.
office moving forward.
So if I was interviewing and I said to you, if I wanted to have a conversation about technological advancements in dentistry, would that excite you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Look at that. Okay, good. Okay. All right. So we got now. So private practice. The only people that have bought you a beer or some free food is the DSOs. Are any private practice doctors showing up at the school? Give me the name of the doctor who is most present at your school who's in private practice. Can you even think of one? So fourth year, no one stands out. No one has contacted you, made you see their picture, sponsored something of significance. Okay.
I think the Georgia Dental Association, they throw on a lot of things, and they have tried to kind of incorporate like a mentorship program, but that's something that you sign up for. And so like there haven't been doctors coming to the school to kind of meet with us. It's kind of like mediated through the GDA.
So if I sent you a letter every 6 months introducing myself, would you remember it?
Yeah, for sure.
Because you get so many letters from so many people? That was a joke.
Yeah. It would stand out.
Would it be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
A letter? Like a physical letter that was addressed to you? Would you guys remember that?
It would definitely be
sure.
better than just like sending emails out that we get, I feel like, all the time.
But like if you got a physical, like if I wrote you a letter and had your name on there, it was official, and it was like, I would like to introduce myself, and I am a doctor and so, and you can look at my stuff, and I'm so excited about your future career and endeavor, and I'm a bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Would you remember that?
Absolutely.
That would be nice.
I think honestly, I would remember a letter more than like an email.
Yeah.
Like my emails, we're
Yeah.
so inundated with emails. I don't get that many letters, honestly. So
No,
if I had a
probably
letter,
like,
it would be nice.
Yeah, you guys are not into the generations are giving up mail, right? We don't like mail is sort of
Just
like a
wedding
thing, so-
invitations these days.
Yeah, wedding invitation. That's funny.
Well, our dental school acceptance came with a handwritten letter from one of the faculty at the school. So I think that was something memorable. I mean, that was 3 years ago at this point. I still remember they used things from our application to kind of make it personal, and I think that was nice.
Like meaningful.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's just like, oh yeah, letters. I love that. Okay, good. So can we talk about debt for a second? So so let's talk about how you see the debt, assuming that you might have some. So is it weighing on you? Is it not weighing on you? Tell me what you're thinking. How do you want to pay it off? Do you just want to let it go as long as humanly possible in the hopes that, like, what's the general thought and what do people?
I mean, I did this experiment the other day with my loans. I put my loans into like ChatGPT, and I was like, how long is it going to take me to pay this off? Like, what am I going to be paying per month? Like, just trying to kind of get in that mindset because, we just finished our third year today. Was our last day. So, I need to start thinking. But, I want to start thinking about ways to tackle it now and kind of get ahead of it and just kind of have a plan in mind of like what kind of figures I need to be throwing at it per month to get it under control.
What did ChatGPT tell you?
totally
you
did.
are screwed. No, what did it say? Like, you're left the rest of your life, you're going to be paying this damn. No, what did it say, really?
It started the, the response with one of those emojis of like the red siren light being like, okay, hey, this is crazy.
Turn the computer off. How long did it say? Did it give you any guidance?
It was basically just saying for us now, right? Like, I think in the past, a lot of people took advantage of like the SAVE program. And now that that's kind of on hold, a lot of the income-driven repayment programs aren't necessarily useful for us just because of our high interest rates that we have for our Grad Plus loans and everything like that we've had to take out. So it suggested doing the 10-year plan and paying it off in 10 years.
Okay, so everybody take a piece of paper. How many days a week do you want to work? Write it down real quick.
Want to work?
Yes, not what you think you have to. All right, what do you got? 3.5. 4, 4, 4. Okay. Start a job with a day off. I love it. $250 and a day off. No, I'm joking. I'm messing with you guys. This is a response you guys can't have when you're interviewing them. See what I'm saying? I can do it up here because we're just having fun. And I'm not, but like, okay. So really what you want is, so if you take the salary you entered, right? If we did math, you're actually asking for like 200 grand on 4 days a week. And one day off is 20%. What's that?
That's the most ideal. I think that we all agree that realistically, starting out, we will be prepared to work 5 days a week.
Right.
And then eventually we would like.
No, but I don't think there's anything wrong with you. I wanted your answer, so I'm going to defend it. I think it's good. But I was just trying to help you guys with the math on it, that if you say you want to make 200, if you think about a 5-day work week, if I knock off one day, I knocked off 20% of the work week, right? Which is a big chunk, 20%, right? So the funny thing is, like, would you be willing to give me 20% off the price to get 4 days? Give me 40% off the price for 3 days? Okay, just something to think about, right?
So much to take away from that. Now, if your goal is to scale your practice and build a high-performing team, or just stay ahead of the market, you have to understand what the future workforce values, period. That conversation was just a small glimpse of what we covered during the full 3-day event, an experience packed with real strategies that work, okay? We focused on how to recruit, train, and retain high-performing providers, along with the actionable steps practice owners are using right now to build teams that drive growth, increase profitability, and create businesses that thrive in any economy. If you want digital access to the entire event recording, email us at event@mypgi.com and just mention the podcast. We will hook you up with a special bonus offer for our listeners only. Thanks for listening to the Private Practice Playbook. Be sure to follow, rate, and share this episode with another growth-minded doc in your circle. New episodes drop on the second and fourth Thursday of every month, so stay tuned and make sure you're following the show so you never miss a beat. Until next time, keep building, keep leading, and keep playing to win.
Thanks so much for checking out this episode of the Private Practice Playbook. For clips of this episode, go ahead and check out the YouTube channel. If you enjoyed what you heard today, make sure to subscribe to the podcast at podcastfordoctors.com to unlock subscriber-only bonus episodes. Find our links below in the description.